All right, so get this. We're diving into something kind of crazy today. The idea of, like, not helping people.
Whoa. Really? That's pretty counterintuitive.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, isn't helping a good thing?
Well, yeah, usually it is.
Totally. But what if sometimes, like, holding back is actually the best thing?
The best thing for who?
For, like, everyone involved, us and the people we're trying to help.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
So
Yeah.
we're looking at this idea based on these wisdom teachings.
Oh, cool. What's the source?
It's called the Wisdom Path. Ever heard of it?
Rings a bell, yeah.
And it basically breaks down all these different personality types
Okay.
and how to figure out, like, who deserves our energy
I like that.
and who might actually be, like, draining us, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, there's some really interesting research that supports this whole idea.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, there's a study out of Harvard.
Okay.
They found that after people won the lottery, tons of them,
Really?
yeah, 70% actually saw their relationships get worse.
No way! After winning the lottery.
Yep, not better, worse. And a big reason why: envy. So it turns out helping the wrong people, especially those who are prone to jealousy, it can totally backfire.
So it's not as simple as just being nice all the time.
Exactly. Our energy is a limited resource, and the wisdom path really emphasizes being strategic about how we use it.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Like, think of it as a guide to avoid those help vampires in our lives.
Ooh, help vampires. I like that. So how many types are we talking about?
The wisdom path outlines 8 major ones.
Okay, let's hear them. Who's first?
All right, so first up, we've got the jealous one.
Ooh, the jealous one. Classic. I know this one.
You share some good news,
Right.
and instead of just being happy for you,
Yeah.
they force a smile or, like, immediately change the subject.
Oh, totally. It's like they can't stand to see you succeed.
Exactly. It's almost like your wins somehow make them feel smaller.
It's so weird.
It is. And actually, remember that Harvard study with the lottery winners?
Yeah.
Well, it also found that the winners' close friends and family, they were actually more likely to start doing risky things,
Risky how?
like financially reckless stuff
Oh.
or even dangerous behaviors.
Oh, wow.
It was like they were trying to catch up or prove their worth or something.
That's kind of sad.
It is. It shows how envy can really push people to make bad decisions.
So the wisdom path talks about this type too.
Oh, yeah. It even quotes Napoleon Hill on this.
Really?
He said, "Keep your dreams away from negative people. They will discourage you from achieving them."
Good advice. So instead of telling everyone about our successes,
Right.
we should be more careful who we share them with.
Exactly. It's like protecting your bank account info. You wouldn't just share that with anyone.
True.
So apply that same idea to your wins.
So it's not about hiding your achievements.
No, not at all.
Just being smart about who you share them with.
Right. It's all about choosing your audience wisely.
Okay. That makes total sense. So who's next on our list of help vampires?
Let's talk about the master manipulator.
Oh, the manipulator. Everyone knows a manipulator.
Oh, yeah. They're the ones who can guilt trip you into helping.
Yeah, even when you're already swamped.
They're pros at playing the victim, pulling on your heartstrings.
It's like magic or something.
Seriously.
Yeah,
And somehow you always end up saying yes.
always. Even when you desperately want to say no.
Every time. It's uncanny. The wisdom path breaks down some of their go-to tactics.
Oh, like what?
They love phrases like, "If you don't help me, who will?" Or, "Can't you just do this one thing for me?"
Yes. So manipulative.
It's all about making you feel responsible for their well-being.
It's so sneaky.
It is. But remember what psychologist Robert Cialdini said, "The best defense against manipulation is knowledge and awareness."
So once you know their tricks,
Yeah,
you can start to see them coming a mile away
exactly.
and be ready for them.
Okay, forewarned is forearmed. But actually saying no, though,
Right.
that's the hard part.
Especially when they turn on the waterworks.
It's so hard. Any tips?
Boundaries. That's the key.
Boundary.
And sometimes that means saying no without giving a whole explanation. Wait, really? You don't have to justify it.
Admit you don't owe anyone a reason for protecting your time and energy.
Never thought of it like that.
The wisdom path even gives you some phrases to use. Like, "I'm not able to do that right now," or
Sure.
"I appreciate you asking, but I'm going to have to decline." Short, sweet, and to the point.
Wow, that's actually super helpful. I always feel like I need a good excuse.
Yeah.
But maybe it's more about just being clear and firm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another good test is asking yourself,
Okay.
would this person do the same for me?
That's a good one.
If the answer is no,
Yeah.
it's a pretty clear sign you might be dealing with the user.
A user, not a true friend.
Right.
Okay, that's a great point. It's like a gut check to make sure you're not being taken advantage of.
Exactly. So who's next on our energy drainer list?
Lay it on me. I'm ready for the next one.
All right, let's move on to someone who's less about actively manipulating
Okay.
and more about just being a constant drain.
Yeah.
The chronic complainer.
Oh, no. The chronic complaint.
We all vent sometimes, right?
Of course.
Totally normal. But this person lives in a perpetual state of negativity.
Ugh.
Everything is wrong. The weather, their job, their toast.
You name it, they'll find something to whine about.
Exactly. They're like a black hole of negativity.
And you know what's crazy?
What?
It's contagious. You start trying to be supportive and helpful,
Yeah,
but then you realize it's a bottomless pit.
totally. They don't actually want solutions. You just want to wallow.
Exactly. The wisdom path talks about this, right?
Oh yeah, it points out that they often reject any advice you give, but then they'll come back for more sympathy later.
It's a vicious cycle.
It really is. And it's important not to get sucked in.
Okay, so how do you deal with this type?
Well, how do you handle it without seeming heartless?
Right. You don't want to just ignore someone who's struggling.
Of course not. The wisdom path suggests offering solutions,
Okay.
maybe once or twice. But if they're not open to change,
Yeah.
it's time to protect yourself by limiting contact. Remember what Theodore Roosevelt said?
I don't think so.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
And chronic complainers are masters of comparison
True. They're always focused on what's wrong with their lives.
and how everyone else has it better.
Exactly, which just fuels the negativity.
Yep. So sometimes the kindest thing you can do
Yeah,
is to walk away.
that does seem counterintuitive.
It does.
But I can see how constantly engaging would just drain both of you.
In the long run.
Yeah. Okay, so it's about recognizing that you can't force someone to change. You can offer support, but ultimately it's up to them.
Exactly. They have to choose a more positive path.
That makes sense. All right, what's next on our list?
Let's talk about the lazy one.
The lazy one.
Okay.
This should be good.
This is the person who's always got time for Netflix,
Oh, yeah.
but somehow never has time to help out.
Never too busy relaxing.
They're masters of procrastination.
They're pros at avoiding any kind of effort.
And
Yeah.
there's actually some interesting research from Stanford about this.
Really?
Yeah. They found that procrastination often comes from a fear of failure.
Interesting.
So people avoid doing things
Right.
because they're afraid of messing up.
That makes sense.
And then that avoidance just reinforces the cycle.
So they never learn to actually face their fears.
Exactly. And they miss out on opportunities to grow and improve.
So how can we help someone who's stuck in this pattern?
The wisdom path emphasizes encouraging action
Okay.
instead of enabling inaction.
What does that look like in practice?
Like, instead of just doing things for them,
Huh.
we offer guidance and support,
Right.
but only when they show genuine effort.
So basically, we meet them halfway.
Exactly. We don't rescue them, we empower them.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm curious about the next type. Who's up?
All right. Let's dive into the ungrateful one.
Ooh, the ungrateful one. I think we all know this one too.
Oh, definitely.
You go out of your way to do something nice,
Right.
and instead of a thank you,
Yeah.
you get criticism.
Ugh. The worst. Like you just handed them a beautiful gift.
Yeah. And they're complaining about the wrapping paper.
Exactly. It's like their default setting is negativity.
So what's going on there? Why are some people so ungrateful?
Well, there's actually some research from the University of California that shed some light on this.
Okay, tell me more.
They found a link between ungratefulness, low self-esteem, and negative thinking patterns.
So it's not just about being rude.
It's deeper than that.
It's like a reflection of their inner world.
Exactly. And the wisdom path is really clear on this.
On what?
We need to set boundaries with this type.
Right, because you can't force someone to be grateful.
Exactly. And we have to be careful not to waste our energy on people who aren't receptive to it.
So it's about being selective with our giving.
Yes. Help those who appreciate it, not those who demand it.
Okay, I like that. Help those who appreciate it. That's a good rule of thumb.
It is. Okay, so are you ready for the next personality type?
Absolutely, hit me with it.
Okay, this one might make you want to pull your hair out. The irresponsible one.
The irresponsible one. Oh boy, I have a feeling I know exactly who you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
This is the person who's always dropping the ball,
Always.
never meeting deadlines,
Yeah.
always forgetting important things.
And then blaming everyone else when things go wrong.
Right. It's never their fault.
Never. The wisdom path compares it to being in a sinking boat,
Oh, no.
and there's one person refusing to bail water.
Oh, gosh, because
Yeah.
they think it's someone else's job.
Exactly. They just don't take responsibility for their actions.
So frustrating.
It is. And there's actually a psychological reason for this.
What is it?
Well, a lot of times irresponsibility stems from a fear of failure.
Interesting.
So people avoid taking ownership
Uh-huh.
because they're terrified of messing up.
So they never learn from their mistakes.
Exactly. And they never develop a sense of accountability.
That makes a lot of sense. So how do we break this cycle?
Well, the wisdom path cautions against rescuing irresponsible people.
Because it just enables them.
Exactly. If we constantly swoop in and fix their problems,
Right.
they never learn to face the consequences of their actions.
Which means they never actually grow.
Right. It's like we're stunting their development.
Okay. So sometimes the best way to help is to let them experience the natural consequences.
Exactly. It can be tough to watch,
I bet.
but it's often the most effective way for them to learn and grow.
That's a good point. Okay, who's next on our list?
Let's talk about the constant critic.
Oh, no! The constant critic. Everyone's got that one person
Right.
who's always finding fault with everything.
They're like a walking negativity machine.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why did you do it like that?
That's not how I would have done it.
I can hear their voice in my head right now.
It's like they can't help but point out every little flaw.
So why are some people so critical all the time?
Well, behavioral psychology actually suggests that
Yeah.
a lot of times it comes from their own insecurities.
So it's not really about us at all.
Nope. It's more about them projecting their own self-doubt onto others.
That's actually kind of sad.
It is. But understanding that can help us deal with it.
Oh, okay. How so?
Well, the wisdom path offers some practical strategies.
Like what?
First, don't take it personally.
Easier said than done.
I know.
No.
But remember, it's usually more about them than you.
Okay.
Second, try to focus on constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Ignore the rest.
And if that doesn't work,
Then limit your exposure.
sometimes you gotta just walk away.
Exactly. Protect your energy.
That's good advice. All right. Who's our final energy drainer?
Let's talk about the energy vampire.
The energy vampire. Ooh. That sounds intense.
They're sneaky.
How so?
Well, they don't actively try to manipulate you,
Okay.
like the manipulator we talked about earlier,
Right.
but they still drain you dry.
So it's more of a passive thing?
Yeah. You just feel mentally exhausted after spending time with them.
Ugh, I know that feeling. It's like they suck the life out of you.
Exactly. And it's different from the manipulator.
Right, because the manipulator's actively trying to get something from you.
Yeah. They're using specific tactics to get what they want.
But the energy vampire.
They're more like a black hole.
Just sucking up all the good vibes.
Exactly. And the effects can really add up over time.
So how do we protect ourselves from these energy vampires?
Well, the wisdom path is all about setting boundaries.
Okay, makes sense.
Limit your exposure
Wow.
and surround yourself with positive influences instead.
So it's about being mindful of who we let into our inner circle?
Exactly. Choose your companions wisely.
That's powerful advice. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have 8 different personality types to watch out for.
8 help vampires lurking in the shadows.
But remember, knowledge is power.
So true. Now that we know who to avoid,
Right.
let's talk about who we should be helping.
Exactly. Let's shift our focus to the positive side of giving.
Sounds good to me. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Okay, so
Yeah.
far we've been talking about all these help vampires, right?
The energy drainers.
But the wisdom path isn't just about who to avoid, right?
No, definitely not.
It also talks about who we should be helping.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the people who genuinely deserve our support.
And honestly, that's where I want to focus my energy.
Makes sense. It's way more fulfilling.
Totally.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Who are these people?
Okay. The wisdom path highlights a few key traits.
Okay, lay 'em on me. I'm ready to dish my vampire repellent and get some help magnets.
Help magnets. I like that.
Right.
So first up, we have appreciation.
Appreciation.
It seems simple,
Yeah.
but it's crucial.
I mean, yeah. Just a thank you can go such a long way.
Absolutely. It shows they value your time and energy.
Totally. And it just makes you feel good about helping.
Right. Like, remember that feeling when you give a thoughtful gift
Yeah.
and the person is genuinely excited about it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not about expecting a huge gesture back.
Right. It's just that acknowledgement that makes it worthwhile.
Exactly. And appreciation isn't just about words either.
Oh, right. It's about actions, too.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like someone following through on their promises.
We're finding ways to give back.
Yes. It's about that reciprocity.
That give and take, that balance.
Exactly. You're not just pouring from an empty cup.
Okay. Appreciation makes sense. So what's another important quality?
Responsibility.
Responsibility, okay.
This is someone who owns their choices, their actions, their life.
They're not blaming others for their problem.
Exactly. They take responsibility and look for ways to improve.
It's like that, okay, I messed up, but I'm going to learn from this attitude.
Yes. They're looking for a hand up.
Not a handout.
Exactly.
Oh, well.
And when someone has that attitude,
Yeah.
our help becomes an investment in their growth.
Right. It's not just a temporary fix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're empowering them to become more self-sufficient.
It's like that saying, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day.
Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have appreciation and responsibility.
What's next?
Growth.
Growth. Okay.
This is someone with a mindset of continuous improvement.
So they're always trying to learn and get better.
Exactly. They're curious, they ask questions, they're always pushing themselves.
They're not just sitting around being complacent.
Definitely not. And the cool thing is,
Yeah.
our help often has a ripple effect with these people.
How so?
Well, they take what they learn and apply it to their lives. They create positive change, not just for themselves.
But for others too.
Exactly. It's like that pay it forward concept.
Oh, I love that. It's like a chain reaction of positivity.
Exactly. All right, you ready for the final quality?
Hit me with it.
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. Okay, we've touched on this a little.
We have.
Right.
But it's so important that it deserves its own spot on the list.
Totally. So it's about that balance of giving and receiving.
Right. It's not about keeping score,
Yeah.
but about mutual support and appreciation.
Like a dance.
Perfect analogy. When we give to people who get this,
Yeah.
we create a positive feedback loop.
It's energizing, not draining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so to recap,
Yeah.
we're looking for people who are appreciative,
Response
growth-oriented.
and understand reciprocity.
Yep. Those are our help magnets.
Our help magnets. I love it. And hey, remember that Denzel Washington quote?
Which one?
At the end of the day, it's not about what you have or even what you've accomplished. It's about who you've lifted up and who you've made better.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
And that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely. When we have the right people,
Yeah.
we contribute to their growth,
Yeah.
their happiness.
And their success.
And in doing so, we enrich our own lives too.
It feels so good to shift the focus to this positive side of helping.
Does this? It's empowering.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yes.
I want everyone listening to really think about these qualities.
Appreciation, responsibility, growth, and reciprocity.
These are the signs that our energy is truly valued.
They're a guidepost for making a real difference.
Because when we choose wisely,
Yeah.
helping others becomes a transformative experience.
It fills us with joy and purpose.
You know, it's funny. We started this whole deep dive talking about who we should stop helping.
Yeah. Just kind of harsh at first.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But exploring the wisdom path has really shifted my perspective.
How so?
Well, it's not about like becoming a hermit and never helping anyone.
Right.
It's more about being intentional.
Intentional about who you help.
Exactly. Like recognizing those situations where our energy is truly valued.
And where it can actually make a difference.
Yes. It's like we've been fine-tuning our help compass throughout this episode.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
Right.
So we're learning to spot those energy drainers.
To help vampires.
Exactly. And then we can redirect that energy
To those who will actually benefit from it.
and appreciate it.
Yes. And you know what? It's actually really empowering.
How so?
Well, for a long time, I felt like I had to say yes to every request for help.
Oh, yeah. I know that feeling.
Even when it left me feeling totally burned out.
And resentful.
Totally. But now I'm realizing that saying no,
Yeah.
it can actually be an act of self-care.
It is.
And it can even be a way to help others in the long run.
That's a good point. And it's like society teaches us that saying no is selfish.
Right.
But what we've learned from the wisdom path
Yeah.
is that sometimes saying no is the most compassionate thing we can do.
For ourselves and for others.
Exactly. It's about choosing to say no to those who drain us
And yes to those who inspire us.
and who reciprocate our kindness.
It all comes back to being mindful with our energy.
Right. Instead of just scattering it everywhere,
We need to focus it like a laser beam.
direct it where it can really make an impact.
And think about the ripple effects.
Oh, yeah.
When we start saying yes to the right people
To those who are ready to receive our help,
and use it to grow.
we're creating a more positive and supportive world.
It's like that Mother Teresa quote,
Which one?
"Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier."
Oh, I love that one.
When we focus our energy on those who deserve it,
Yeah.
we become those beacons of light for others.
Beautifully said. And, even as we get better at recognizing those who might not be ready for our help,
Right.
we can still approach them with compassion.
Of course. We don't want to write anyone off completely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most helpful thing is to point them towards resources.
Give them tools to help themselves.
Empower them to take ownership of their lives.
It's like that saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Exactly. So true.
This deep dive has been so insightful.
I'm glad to hear that. It's been a great conversation.
It really has. It's given me so much to think about.
And remember, it's a journey.
Not a destination.
Keep refining that help compass of yours.
I will.
Yeah.
So to everyone listening, I want to leave you with this challenge.
Okay.
Think about the people in your life who lifts you up, who inspires you.
Who appreciates your efforts.
And then ask yourself, how can you show up more fully for those people?
How can you invest your energy in ways that create a positive ripple effect?
Because when we choose wisely, helping others becomes an incredible gift.
A gift that keeps on giving.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep diving deep.